Thank you for coming, and we're also delighted to have you back. Today's question is, what are asbestos codes of practice in Alberta, BC, and Saskatchewan? Asbestos codes of practice are written procedures that explain how asbestos hazards will be identified, assessed, controlled, and managed before asbestos-containing materials are disturbed. They help employers address worker training, exposure control, fiber release, restricted areas, PPE, respiratory protection, waste handling, contractor responsibilities, and provincial compliance requirements. This matters because asbestos may still be present in older flooring, ceiling tiles, drywall compound, insulation, roofing materials, cement products, and mechanical systems. A strong asbestos code of practice should match the actual building, work, materials, workers, contractors, and jurisdiction involved. Asbestos codes of practice in Alberta, BC, and Saskatchewan need to do more than describe asbestos rules on paper. Across these provinces, employers, owners, contractors, supervisors, and workers are expected to identify asbestos-containing materials, assess the risk, control fiber release, train workers, restrict access, manage waste, and keep proper records before materials are disturbed. In Alberta, this means connecting the Alberta OHS code and asbestos abatement manual to the actual work, including approved training, restricted areas, and required notification before work that may release asbestos fibers begins. In BC, employers and owners must address asbestos inventories, qualified risk assessments, safe work procedures, containment, PPE, decontamination, cleanup, and current licensing and certification requirements for asbestos abatement work. In Saskatchewan, employers must follow asbestos procedures, train workers according to their duties, and provide required notice for high-risk asbestos processes. The common mistake is treating asbestos as only the abatement contractor's problem. A strong asbestos code of practice connects legal requirements to the real building, real materials, real workers, real contractors, and real work being performed. Let's divide this into 6 actionable micro tips before we continue. The success of an asbestos code of practice in the field hinges on these minor points, not just its presence in a binder. The aim is to locate asbestos prior to material disturbance, confirm worker awareness of the hazards, and verify that the procedure aligns with the building, work, contractors, and provincial regulations. Micro tip 1. Identify asbestos before materials are disturbed. Before maintenance, renovation, demolition, or abatement work begins, employers need to confirm whether asbestos-containing materials may be present. This is especially important in older buildings where asbestos may be found in flooring, ceiling tiles, drywall compound, insulation, roofing materials, cement products, and mechanical systems. If the material has not been confirmed, workers should not drill, cut, scrape, sand, remove, or disturb it. Micro tip 2. Match the code of practice to the actual work. An asbestos code of practice should not be a generic document copied from another company. It needs to reflect the actual building, materials, workers, contractors, tasks, and province involved. A strong document explains who does what, how asbestos will be controlled, what PPE and respiratory protection are required, and how the work area will be managed. Micro tip 3. Complete the hazard assessment first. A good asbestos procedure starts with a proper hazard assessment. The assessment should confirm where asbestos may be located, what condition it is in, whether the work could disturb it, and what level of control is required. If the hazard assessment is weak, the procedure will likely be weak as well. Micro tip 4. Train workers based on their duties. Asbestos training should match the worker's actual role and exposure risk. A worker who only needs to recognize and report suspect material may need awareness training, while maintenance or abatement workers may need more detailed instruction. If a worker is expected to identify, avoid, report, control, or work near asbestos, their training must match that responsibility. Micro tip 5. Do not treat asbestos as only the contractor's problem. A common mistake is assuming asbestos is only the abatement contractor's responsibility. Building owners, employers, supervisors, maintenance workers, prime contractors, and other trades may all affect whether asbestos is disturbed. The Code of Practice should clearly explain contractor responsibilities, site controls, communication, documentation, and required notifications. And micro tip 6, keep the asbestos process active in the field. Compliance is more than having a binder in the office. The Asbestos Code of Practice should be used before work starts, during contractor coordination, during inspections, and when workers discover suspect materials. If the procedure is current, practical, and understood, it helps prevent exposure, reduce project delays, support audits, and keep workers protected. For practical support with Asbestos Code of Practice development, asbestos procedure reviews, hazard assessment support, and compliance management, visit calgarysafetyconsultants.ca and reach out. We help employers build clear, usable asbestos documentation that connects legal requirements to real buildings, real materials, real workers, and real work. That includes reviewing asbestos hazards, improving worker and supervisor training, strengthening contractor controls, preparing for audits, and closing compliance gaps before materials are disturbed or exposure risks become bigger problems.